Hello, I'm Joe Dillette. I'm going to be carving a bear out of this block and making it into a bench. The bench will have three parts to it. The bear will be supporting one end, a log will be supporting the other end, and the seat. The seat of the bench is here. So what we're going to be learning in this video is to be able to locate the features from a clay model, transfer those features, locate them in the block. And to do that, I've got a grid that I've drawn into a block. And that's what we're going to be using for locating the features. Here is the black walnut log that we're going to use for the bear. The imperfections in the log, like the crack that runs down here, I've positioned right in between his paws and his legs. The imperfections that you see in the top, as this crack is coming over, and around this side, down the side a ways, there is a crack where a branch was coming out of it here. I have positioned the head on the model so the front crack, as you're looking down on it, the front crack is going to come up through here, and it will miss right by his head, I'm hoping. And then this is the area in here where the side crack over here is. So that'll be located right in here. The other two sides of the log are pretty good. The method for transferring the features to the log is a grid method. So what I did is I made a grid. This is just a corner. The scale that was on it previously didn't match, so I just made up a piece of paper. The block of wood that we're using that is 33 inches high, so I made 33 squares coming up, and it's square, 14.5 inches square. So I made 14.5 squares in each direction. Into the corner, so that back corner is my reference point. The clay is 33 squares high, and it fits into the 14.5 inches in both directions. So now all I need to do, and I have everything numbered, is I just need to see where the shoulder lies here at about 20 inches high, where the rounding of the head is, and so that's what I'm going to use to transfer all the dimensions into the block of wood. For the other end, the log to support the other side of the bench, I can use the same scale. So by placing painter's tape on the bar, you can gauge your depth. I'm filling the cracks using the chips that I've cut off the side, and I've made wedges that will match the grain. This is in grain, and so the filling chips that I'm using has got the grain running up and down. When I do the side grain, then I use the long grain. This is the second filling of cracks. So we've done the larger pieces, and now we're just going in on the smaller pieces and just filling the smaller holes. This was an area here that was rotten, so I fit a piece and glued it in there. The log at the other end of the bench. So the bench has this other part. So you have the bear and the log, and putting the raccoon in the log. So the bear is black walnut, and so is this log. I'm putting the hair on the tail of the raccoon right now, and by rocking the chisel in this direction, I'm making cuts going in this direction. So depending on the pressure that you put on and how fast you're walking the chisel, you can regulate the how coarse that the hair will be. And then to smooth it off, I go a little bit sideways here. So if you come sideways like a plow plowing the field, you could make nice little cuts. To fasten the tail on, I've got some dowels that I will glue into place. So around the nose is pretty smooth, so I'm going very light, very close together there. I'm using oil paints to paint the hair on the raccoon. I want to paint it before I glue it in. It's much easier. Yeah, I have epoxied in the raccoon. The tail is clamped, the head is clamped, and these paws, I've kind of got the epoxy underneath. I'm using a quick weld epoxy. I'm not using a glue because the surface is not matched close enough, so I have a gap. Ooh, time to change the dust mask. So that's what I'm doing for the second kind of a texture. And then the final, you can do all this with a chisel too, with your gouges, but the power is just faster. So the final one, I've got this here is a Dremel tool that has a small rotary bit. You see with the burrs on it. So what I'm doing here, you can just take it and skim it over. It's like sanding it. So the chest on the bear is sticking out a little bit, and I want to get these edges of this back just a little bit more, because I'm going to put brackets on the bottom that are going to be supported into the bear, and I don't want the brackets to be very long. I'm carving out the two holes for the aluminum bracket supports. So the aluminum bracket supports are on the bottom of the stool, and they slide right into the hole. That will keep it from tipping back and forth. It will also keep some of the weight off the arms. To keep this back support in position, I'm going to use a dowel so it can be pivoted, but it won't slide off. So the dowel is going to go into the top of this support, and it's going to be glued into here. So what I'm doing on the bench part is I've taken the dowel, I've cut a slot in here, and I have a wedge. And now I'm going to fill that with glue, and then when I drive this down into there, it's going to expand, and then that will also, besides the glue, that will wedge it in. So while the varnish is still wet, I'm blending in the artist oil colors, just evening out the colors. I painted the nose black and his lips and around the eyes. And then I take the varnish brush and I just blend over the top.